We all have our individual ways to approach belief in the supernatural, including non-belief. Yes, all are valid. When we hold space for one another's beliefs, we cultivate our compassion and affirm our shared humanity. Then we can be safe. Then we can be free. This is Free to Believe with Eniola Who. When Chibuzor walked into 16 by 16, his aura lit up the already bright space, like we were told only believers in God did. Only Chibuzor is a non-theist who doesn't even believe in the existence of God. I would later find out that the light that emanated from Chibuzor was his thoughtfulness and compassion for other people. His life philosophy is rooted in ethics, the natural world, and science. Listen to what Chibuzor has to say about his experience as a secular humanist. Hello everyone, welcome to Free to Believe with Eniola Who. Today I'm going to be talking with Chibuzor and we're going to learn more about his beliefs and what he believes about God, afterlife, and all of that good stuff. So first of all, Chibuzor, I want you to introduce yourself, tell people about you, and also what do you believe?
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Chibuzor Obiora. I'm a software developer based in Lagos, Nigeria. Currently CTO of a fledgling startup. My beliefs, I'll say I believe in secular humanism. And it's basically a way of life that's grounded in the physical world and an outlook that gives more meaning to life.
Okay.
In a sense, yes.
So more meaning to life, like the physical life we live in, not some external supernatural.
Yes.
So you don't believe in the supernatural?
No.
Okay.
No.
So everything can be figured out with science, research, compassion?
Well, I won't say everything can be figured out. I'll more, science is always being modest.
Okay.
So I'll put it that everything that has been figured out has been figured out by science. So.
Okay. I like that. So now, Chibuzor, were you born into this belief, or did you convert?
I was born a Catholic. I was born into a deeply Catholic family. And I was Catholic for about 23 years of my life.
Wow.
Yes. And then one summer in 2011, I, came across some information that I just couldn't let go.
Wow.
And the more I thought about it, the more I started to question what I had believed all my life. And eventually, I couldn't continue believing.
Wow. So what did you come across? Can you share that with us? If you can share it.
Yeah, fine. It's actually a very, it should be somewhere on YouTube. I don't know if I can still find it. But
it's YouTube?
Yeah, it was a debate. It was a debate between Richard Dawkins, I think he's a biologist or evolutionary biologist from the UK, and a cleric, a Muslim cleric, an Anglican priest, and I think a Catholic priest.
Wow.
And what struck me from that interview, it wasn't really about Richard Dawkins' ideas. I didn't know what he believed. I didn't know he was an atheist. I would later learn that. But it was more of his confidence in what he was, putting forward. He will make a point and he'll say, "You can try to prove me wrong."
I dare you.
The Catholic priest would say one thing, and the Anglican bishop would disagree, and the Islam cleric would also disagree, and none of them could put like a categorical, if this is wrong, then I would have to leave my faith.
Wow.
So I felt that degree of confidence meant he knew something that obviously the rest didn't know. And I started researching more and more, and the more I looked, the more.
Wow.
I pointed, yes.
So if you grew up Catholic, what was your life like growing up? Like, I know because I grew up a Christian, I also understand like Sundays is when we go to church with our families.
Yes.
How was growing up different from now that you're a secular humanist?
Well, Catholics, it's pretty intense. We block rosaries, so a group of children, we pray every evening. depending on the season, how close you are to Christmas, how close you are to Easter. Did all the sacraments. I was baptized obviously as a baby, but then I did the Holy Communion and I did the confirmation as well.
Okay.
So I was pretty into it. I wore a scapula, I wore the rosary, I wore the scapula.
What's a scapula?
The scapula is like a brown material.
Okay.
With a picture, with a brown rope on the picture. And the idea is basically that, what I remember from the scapula was that it's blessed in such a way that whoever wore it and they died wearing it could never go to hell, no matter the state in which they were.
Okay.
So if you're in a sinful state, you end up
I'm not laughing
No,
to be offensive.
it is, in retrospect, it is.
I'm not laughing to be offensive, I've just never heard it before.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we wore that, and it was pretty, the scapula, the Pieta prayer book, because the Catholic Church has a huge emphasis on Mary, the Mother of God.
Yes.
So that leaned really
Which I like.
Yeah, that leaned really heavily to Mary's position at the whole.
Wow. Okay, so then, now that you're a secular humanist, what is the most difficult part navigating that in Nigeria?
Yeah, I would say the most difficult part for me is, seeing your loved ones and, and some of the beliefs that you think is holding them back, doing different things. And also, outside of that, I think the one that really hurts me the most is the influence of religion in people's health and how they believe about their health and their practices.
Yes,
and if they go to the doctor, do they take their medicine? And if the pastor or priest says one thing, do they stop taking their medicine? Personally, I know family, relatives who've passed away because they got a handkerchief that they would use instead of actually going to the hospital. Yeah, so it is a very dangerous thing, and that really hurts me, especially in Nigeria where, every time you go anywhere, you are most likely going to see somebody peddling something that's supposed to cure all manners of illnesses. Yeah.
Wow. So, okay, your reason's actually very different. Most people is like navigating it with all the judgment and whatnot, but you seem like really concerned about the well-being of people. I feel like you're not even worried about what people think about you. It's how people are surviving.
I think religion, Christianity especially, it's like group control. And if you decide to make your own rules, as long as you're not hurting others, then you start to see the effects on other people. If you're trying not to harm people and you see other people being harmed, then that's your attention is drawn to that a lot more. So I think so.
Wow. Okay. So then, do you think religion is good for Nigeria?
Yes and no, but mostly no.
Okay.
Mostly no, because it's sort of, it takes away our, what's the word, our
autonomy?
Yes, it takes away our need, the desire to act. Because when something wrong happens, we just say, you know what,
leave it to God.
Leave it to God, or God will punish them. So we don't take action because we believe that there's an afterlife where everybody gets what they deserve. So that's why it's mostly no. And also all the other thing I mentioned about health as well. I think in that regard, we just need to separate it completely.
I agree.
I was in the hospital once, and I think my younger sister was ill, and the group that prays, like a Catholic group, they go around and pray, which is okay. I don't mind that. But they were praying for her, and they said, "It's not the doctor that heals; that it's God that heals." That after the doctor has done everything, and I took offense at that. No, you can't say that.
Exactly.
Let's try and leave that outside of a hospital.
Yeah.
But yes, the reason why I say some part yes is because the world is a hard place, and even as someone who doesn't necessarily believe in a supreme being or supernatural, you have to have something that you hold. And sometimes believing that something out there has your back can motivate someone to take a chance they will otherwise not take.
This is true.
So the bit part, yes, maybe 10% yes, but mostly no.
Mostly no, mostly no.
Yeah.
Got it. So now, what's the biggest misconception about being a secular humanist?
I think people don't just know, when you tell people you don't believe in God or you don't, you're not a Christian, you're not a Muslim, you're just on your own. They just think you have no morals, that you're just someone who just goes around doing whatever they like. But the thing about secular humanism is that it's driven by, there's like the ethical component of it, where there's a consequence for every action.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna act, you have to be willing to deal with those consequences. You can't, shirk it off to some demon or whatever. It is you, and you have to pay for it. And it tries to. It basically gives us another explanation, a better explanation for why we're here, which I even think is more wondrous for why we're here and how we came about. And it puts science as the core way in which we navigate our world and our universe. So.
Wow, that's lovely.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes.
So now, if you decide to have a family in the future,
Yes.
how are you going to raise your children? If you decide to have children,
Yeah.
how are you going to raise them? Or even if you don't have kids, if you are maybe talking to your siblings' kids, or what are you going to tell them?
So I think the biggest thing we could add to religion as it is right now is to give people avenues to ask questions. Yes. As long as people are okay asking questions, they'll come to the right conclusion. So, if I'm talking to my
Can you repeat that last statement?
As long as people feel okay to ask questions, I believe they'll come to the right conclusions. When I was in the Catholic Church, there was nothing like, it was just, you are the, what was it called again? You're the member of the, forgotten technology. Well, basically you're the audience, and then the priest is telling you, and you listen. And even though you think, but what about a child that dies before they are baptized? What about, all those things, and nobody to ask. And if you ask your parents, they say, you shouldn't ask that. So what I try to preach or teach my nephews and nieces, I have 3 of them now, is I always encourage them to ask questions. When they ask, I always answer. And you would hope that, that leads them.
I love that. I wish more people had uncles like you. It's true, because Nigeria, we have this thing of obey before complain.
Yes, it's terrible.
It's terrible.
It's terrible.
I mean, luckily for me, I grew up in a home where my mom even used to tell us we could challenge her.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's
but
very important.
I'm not going to lie, when we became teenagers, she's like, no, you can't challenge me. I think the challenging became too real, because my sisters are now very strong and
because you're now navigating all the issues.
Exactly. But when we're young, we're allowed to ask questions. She may not give an answer, but you can ask. So I've always believed in that as well. Now, do people ever think that because you're a secular humanist, you're anti-feminist? Because I see people say, no, I'm not a feminist, I'm a humanist. I'm like, the fuck? That is.
No, I'm actually, they say a man can't call himself a feminist because...
I believe that, but it's just my belief. It's not gospel.
But, I think that religion most religions, or Christianity, I should say, is very patriarchal.
Oh yeah, very.
It's not, when someone tells me that they're a woman pastor, I'm like, it's like an oxymoron.
Yeah.
But as a secular humanist, I can see because you come at everything from what is true. You don't come in. You don't come in with any, even if you have a bias or a precursive notion. You want to set that aside and listen to the people who are complaining about whatever issue they're complaining about.
Right.
So, when you see women championing, equity, equality in different places, like you can see where they're coming from.
Right.
And I'm a staunch supporter of that. Donate. I was part of the market march the other day.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
I was going to wear the t-shirt today, but
it's beautiful. It's beautiful witnessing that. So I think, and some people say that they're extreme, but I think we need, when something has gone so far one direction, we need an extreme correction. Yeah. And maybe we end up somewhere back in the middle.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
I agree with that too.
We should have more of that.
So, if someone wanted to learn more about becoming a secular humanist, what would you tell them to start? What do you say?
It is.
He wants to learn.
I mean, just secularhumanism.org. It's pretty. Just a simple page. It just tells you.
Okay.
I know, like in true non-religious fashion, they don't try to tell you exactly. They just say this is what it means, and it's left for you to investigate more. So what does that mean? How can you apply it to your day-to-day life? And then you sort of figure that out as well. Yeah.
So then, since you don't believe, usually this is the part where I ask, have you found your spirit's home? But you don't believe in spirits and all those things. So have you found your peace of mind in this belief?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. It's
I love when people say yes.
Sometimes, you said something earlier about having compassion. It's a dicey situation in that sometimes there's a hopeless feeling because of this, so much injustice in the world, and things are wrong, and you know that there's nobody coming to save us, and we have to save ourselves. And you're thinking, when will humanity rise up to the challenge? But then again, you see human beings doing amazing things, cleaning up the oceans, rescuing, strays, volunteering their time to help people who suffered from, climate disasters and all of that. And you now realize that, that's the back of my mind, that we are the solution. As much as we are the problem, that we are the solution as well. So
we are the solution. I love that. I love that.
If you know this is it, you try to have, you try to live your life to have as minimal negative impact on the environment of people. And then, that really, dictates your actions in most scenarios.
I really love how accountable you are, and how, essentially you're not passing the blame to anybody. You're this is my responsibility. I can do what I can do, and it's very empowering. I feel very empowered just listening to you. And I really appreciate you sitting down to talk to me. Before I leave, I need to ask you one more thing.
Okay.
Your conversion story. How did your family take it?
Oh, it was. So initially, I was, I came to the conclusion of atheism, which was I just rejected everything. And not only did I reject everything, I was actively campaigning against it. So I was anti-theist as well as atheist.
Okay.
So, so that caused a lot of friction because, I was asking them direct questions about, so you believe in this, so what does this mean? So what does that mean? How can you justify that? And it wasn't a good time in retrospect because, I almost lost my closest friends. And not because they wouldn't have accepted me as an atheist, but because I was so much in their face trying to make a point. So initially it was tough, but then over the years, when I, like I said, people have said that atheism is not a stance. It's not an affirmation of something. It's more like a rejection. So, and I started asking myself, so what do you believe in? I know science, but in what framework do you believe in science? So, and that's why I landed in a secular humanism, which enables me to live with people of all types of beliefs. As long as you're not hurting other people. Then it's fine.
Wow, I love that. I love it.
So then my parents, my siblings are mostly fine. My parents are here or there. Every now and then they will say, "Oh, that it's good that I'm coming to church," but
they don't know why you're coming.
My coming to church doesn't mean that I'm not Christian. It just means I want to celebrate a baptism or a Thanksgiving and all that kind of thing. So,
Wow, I love that. So. Are any of your siblings asking you questions?
So a couple of my cousins, when we have talks and debates, I know that they lean, they're questioning things. Maybe they haven't gone deeper. They have other things they're worried about. But, I know one or two of them who they just don't believe in God.
Wow.
But maybe they are hoping something changes their mind to come back, maybe, that kind of thing.
Wow, fantastic. This was such a great conversation.
Yes,
Like I enjoyed everything.
Yeah.
Like your energy is so calming. Like even with the, it's just, like I enjoyed this conversation so much.
Yes.
I feel like I've learned a lot from you. I'm definitely going to look into secular humanism,
sure,
read more about it because
sure.
I love things grounded in logic. You know.
Yes.
And I would rather see similarities with people, you know, than differences. I would rather focus on like, what do I have in common with this person? What's our common ground? Where can we be together?
Yes.
You know, than separation. I feel like secular humanism is that. So I definitely like that school of thought.
Yeah. You know, common ground is beneficial as well.
Yes, of course.
People can have common ground.
Like men, you guys have a lot of trashy common ground. Oh, another thing. Do you think that? Do you think that you have? Do you think you might have had it easier because you're a guy, versus like if your sister or something was like, I'm not this. Or, I don't know. I'm just.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe because, you know, as a guy, you get to leave home. As a girl, you get to stay at home till you get married. Yes. So at that 23, 24, I was already looking for a place, so it wasn't as so much everyday conflict.
Yeah, right.
And maybe other things in society that just, you know, because if you're a secular humanist, you ask a lot of questions. If you're a woman who asks a lot of questions in our society,
you're seen as troublesome.
Yes, you seem more troublesome than a guy who has. So yes, there could definitely be.
Okay. Well, thanks for acknowledging that, and thanks for this conversation. I really enjoyed it. How can people like find you on social media? Or
social media.
Or are you like private?
Social media. Nonsense Biodai. NONESENSE by ODAI.
I'll put it on the screen so you guys can see it.
And that's basically.
Okay. Wow. Thank you, Chibuzor. Honestly, this was such a great convo. I'm still like taking it all in, and
Thank you so much.
Probably gonna watch this over and over.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
No problem.
Yeah.
All right.